In Massachusetts, a judge gives a group of juvenile offenders a choice: prison or Shakespeare. Most of them have never been to a theater, some have never read a play, a few cannot read at all. They choose Shakespeare. Most of them rehearsed in spaces like school gymnasiums and community centers, fluorescent lights, folding chairs, concrete floors. Most of them had never spoken aloud in front of a group about anything, let alone someone else's grief. The first rehearsal was silence and discomfort. By the third, they were finishing each other's lines. When I first heard this story, I assumed it was the kind of well-meaning gesture that people make when they have never met someone in genuine crisis. Theater is beautiful. It is not a substitute for intervention. The people who need it most are not sitting in auditoriums watching it. I was wrong. In the early 1990s, psychiatrist Bessel Kolk began scanning the brains of trauma survivors. What he found changed how psychiatry understands what trauma actually does. When a trauma survivor is flooded by a traumatic memory, when the flashback takes over, a specific region of the brain goes dark. Not dim, dark. That region is Broca's area, the part of the brain responsible for putting experience into words. Kolk called it speechless terror. This is why trauma survivors so often say they struggle to explain what happened. It is not evasion. It is a neurological event the language centers have shut down, and the words are simply absent. But the neuroimaging pointed to something more consequential than the loss of language. Trauma steals imagination. The brain locked in traumatic activation has lost access to what imagination normally provides the capacity to model a future other than the trauma's prescription, to step into another person's experience, to rehearse a response it has never had. The traumatized nervous system insists that the danger is still happening. The past is not past. Everything is now. The juvenile offenders who chose Shakespeare were not choosing art. They were choosing, without knowing this, the one thing the traumatized brain cannot do on its own. They were choosing to imagine. And the mechanism of why that worked is something the neuroscience had not yet named when it happened. Lisa Feldman Barrett's research explains why Kolk's finding matters beyond language. Your brain runs a prediction system. It forecasts what is about to happen based on everything that has happened to you before. Trauma locks the forecast on repeat danger, here, now. Normally, you can update a forecast by reframing it in language, talking it through, naming what happened differently. But trauma shuts down Broca's area. The verbal channel is offline. The prediction system is stuck, and the one tool most talk therapy uses to unstick it language is the one tool the trauma disabled. The only input channel still open is the body. Theater asks something different. In rehearsal, the text forced them to breathe deliberately. They spoke words written for someone else, carrying emotions they had not chosen. They listened in real time, and their bodies moved through a fictional crisis, discovering responses beyond the ones that froze them. Each of those acts fed the nervous system information it had not had. The breath told the body it was not in danger. The voice proved it could still produce language. The body moving through a fictional crisis discovered there were responses beyond the ones that froze it. Kolk found that participants in Shakespeare programs showed meaningful improvements in emotional regulation, empathy, and most significantly, their capacity to imagine alternative futures for themselves. Not because Shakespeare explained anything to them, because Shakespeare made them do something their nervous systems had forgotten was possible. The body kept the score. Theater changed it. You probably understand what froze you. The question is, what you have done about it since.